And then too, like I'm extremely humbled. Like again, I came into Adidas, and you realize how smart people are. Like it's some of the smartest, most intelligent, most like you think when you come in like like I got all these ideas. Like everybody has ideas. Like you're around people who can actually make a business case for ideas and execute them, right? And then you have like teammates like 4 people on my team. I'll mention JR, who leads Dame, Troy, who leads Harden, Jordan, who leads Donovan, Pierre, who was working on Trae Young, and so forth. Like these guys are on the front lines dealing with egos that you can't imagine, dealing with wallets you can't imagine, and they handle it well.
What is up, man? I'm excited. I got my family on. This probably my most excited one. Let me actually go to my page and do this share so we can really get it official. But man, how you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Man, I'm great. I'm better now. Hold on, it's not up yet. I've been wanting to have you on. Y'all see his hair though. You see his hair is fresh. He actually told me, hey, two things he said. He was like, B, I will only do this because you're family. But he also kept 100. He's like, man, until I get a haircut, I ain't coming on. So I actually been talking about doing it for a minute. He was like, man, I love you, but I need to have a haircut. So he kept it real.
I only come out of my hole sometimes, and when I do, I have to make sure that I'm at least presentable.
Hey,
the quarantine haircut wasn't it.
Man, I feel you, bro. I just had my barber hit me up because he saw that I cut it down. He's like, man, explain what happened. And I'm like, bro, you in Portland right now. I'm in Arizona. I was like, man, I need you to fly down. He said, shout out to Art. He said he'd fly down for me. I said, man, soon. I was like, I need you to fly down. I'm not on that level yet, but when I get to that level, I'm gonna have you fly down, give me a cut. And so
I hear that.
Yeah, man, that's so critical. They don't understand how critical it is. That's
everything. I cut my hair myself one time during quarantine, and I had to wear a beanie for like 2 weeks straight because it was bad. And people in meetings were like, man, it's 95 degrees outside. Why do you got a beanie on? So like,
bro, it don't matter. It don't matter. The crazy thing is, like I said, I was cutting mine. I was like, okay, because the funny thing is, people see, they know my hair like actually similar to yours. My hairline isn't as good as yours, but I had the part, whatever, it was long. And then when quarantine started, the shit was the funny thing is, I had a cut before quarantine, right? So it was shorter on the sides, and then everything started growing out, but it wasn't like a real fro. You know what I mean? So that was off. And then I got it cut, and I was like, it changed. I was like, so I got it cut by Art, and then it was growing out again. I was like, man, I gotta do something. I ain't gonna see him. I gotta do these other interviews. Like, let me just, and I can only do it one all across, because like that's the only thing I couldn't. I was like, I can't fade it. I can't. You know what I mean? So it's like all this length I had, invested in had to go. So now I'm starting over again, man.
No, I hear that.
It's big levels, but so let me actually go to the introduction like I normally would before we start talking, because what's crazy is, especially with quarantine in general, what I like about doing these conversations is people, because we've been separate, it's like a way to be connected. But also, what's funny, I had Brian on my other nephew before, and it was like, man, you busy, I'm busy. In your case, you're super busy, I'm busy. Like, these is the time I actually get to catch up and have like real conversation, because I'll be most of my people, like, they busy, so I don't get to talk to them. But Brand Talk Live, y'all know me, Brandon Gasson. My guest, Austin Hodges. You know what I mean? I said I got the exclusive rights. Adidas head of global NBA marketing. So let me say this, y'all ain't gonna get him on your show. But I got him on because family. I tell y'all relationships and everything. I got him on. Y'all ain't gonna be able to get him on. But man, how you do it? I could go on, but I'll let you introduce the people for more of the people that don't know what you want to share. That is who you are and what you do.
Well, first off, I don't do this. Again, the only reason why I will do this is because you're my uncle. Yeah. 2, I don't find myself that interesting. So if I am boring, I apologize. But no, I work at Adidas. I lead NBA marketing for our sports marketing team for the globe. My
You
position
can't
sounds
say that.
really,
You can't
really
say
dope.
that. You can't slide that in, man. You can't be like, yeah, man, I'll lead Adidas sports marketing for the globe. Like,
No,
like,
no.
like this is the thing. I'm your uncle, so I can say everything I want to. I can cheerlead for you. So you guys say like, yo, I'm with Adidas global, and then keep going.
No,
You can't
it's
just pass that
no.
over.
I help with the strategy of our players, and then manage our league partnership deal that centers a lot around rights events, hospitality, as well as our team partnerships. And so I don't have the funnest of jobs. I have some people on my team that I work with that are really, really in the front lines, really with the athletes in there grinding and all that. I'm their support system. So I'm on the back trying to do as much downfield blocking as I can and setting as much strategy, but they make my job easy for me. So I'm blessed. I'm super
Yeah.
blessed.
Yeah, man. So talk about again. I know the insight. Talk about that process. How you went from college athlete. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
know there was a program that you were with the University of Oregon. I believe you were the inaugural or the first of its kind to be in that program. Talk about that because a lot of people be like, "Yo, how did you go? How did you get a
Yeah.
job? You're from Portland, which is cool, but a lot of people obviously from these companies that have a position like yours come in from other areas. How did you?
Yeah.
What was the process of you getting to the position you're at today?
Well, I think it started off. I always wanted to do something in sports. I didn't know what it was. So, like in undergrad, around the age of 21, I thought I was going to be set, and I was going to be an athletic director and a coach. Like that was going to be like the dream for me. And then, like every other kid, you grow older and older, you start to realize I may want something a little bit more. So I actually started testing product for Adidas and Nike while I was still playing basketball in school, and I started to, really, really, really wanting to just learn more. I was intrigued by it. Like number one, I was intrigued by how nice everybody was.
Yeah.
Like how dope their jobs were. I didn't know what they were doing, but it seemed dope. And then how willing everybody was to help. So I started testing product. I started to apply to everything under the sun, and I started to get in rejection letters. Like I'm trying to tell you, like I tell the story all the time. Like there was this lady, and she's still a HR recruiter somewhere, so I'm not trying to be rude, but her name is Meredith Nikolai.
Okay.
And it seemed like every time I would send an application out, I would get a rejection letter from her, like instantly, like within 30 seconds. And it was disheartening. It was pretty stressful. So then I went and I just kept poking. And then I went to grad school at University of Oregon. And yeah, we were the inaugural class. It was really, really intimidating, just all the members who were a part of the class. But it was the first time to where I actually was exposed to a deeper level of understanding to what our industry meant. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
To different functions, what they do, how they interact along a 18-month product timeline. And it gave me a confidence. And from there, I took off.
So now, when you graduate, when you graduated from that program, did you go right into Adidas from there? Was
Yeah.
that
So
like a
yeah. So I actually went to Adidas. I got offered a position in two different places, a job somewhere else, and then an internship at Nike.
Okay.
At Adidas. And I took the internship at Adidas, and I went in, and it was weird because it was a grad school internship, but a lot of people still viewed me as an intern. So I'm trying to do as much work as I could. I'm this old ass intern. I'm trying to, and explain that I'm not this, and then slowly but surely people started, becoming a little bit more impressed and started giving me more and more of a workload. And I just leaned on a bunch of people there that I trusted, gained as much insight as I could. And like after 2 months, they stopped viewing me as an intern, obviously. Then I was able to take on more, and that was it.
Yeah, talk about that. You already leaned. You talked about it earlier. How you have a team around you that does the fun work, as you put it, and they're your support system, makes your job easy. But I know you have a background as an athlete. Talk about how that experience, shaped you and how it benefited your position you're in now, where you're collaborating with a whole bunch of different individuals, and you have to rely on a whole bunch of people for everything to work out. Like, you know what I mean? Like that teamwork is a critical component, I would imagine, of you being successful.
Yeah, man, it's really like a locker room. I think it definitely helps what type of leader I was on the basketball court. I wasn't a yeller. I wasn't a get on everybody. I think that if I had one superpower, it's to keep everybody even keeled and to, just learn how to gauge the feelings and the emotions of others around me. And then too, like I'm extremely humbled. Like again, I came into Adidas, and you realize how smart people are. Like it's some of the smartest, most intelligent, most like you think when you come in like, like I got all these ideas. Like everybody has ideas. Like you're around people who can actually make a business case for ideas and execute them, right? And then you have like teammates like 4 people on my team. I'll mention JR, who leads Dame, Troy, who leads Harden, Jordan, who leads Donovan, Pierre, who was working on Trae Young, and so forth. Like these guys are on the front lines dealing with egos that you can't imagine, dealing with wallets you can't imagine, and they handle it well. And then the same thing for our grassroots team. I mean, you're dealing with the Zions and the LaMelos when they're starting to feel themselves, right? And they handle everything with such poise, with such class. And it was a bit intimidating at first. I'm not gonna lie, it was intimidating because they're so good at their job and they do so well. But yeah, I just keep everybody balanced. I feel like offer support, not step on anybody's toes. I don't want any, as you know, limelight or anything like that. I'm doing the work in the background, and I'm an advocate for everybody on my team.
So I want to talk about that because you hinted on it, right? And I want to ask this. I just had this feeling the other day, and throughout other aspects of my career, like you have that moment where you're going through the motions, you're doing it. I feel like everyone might have at some point, if they're being truthful, that kind of like what's it called? The mentality, impostor syndrome. Excuse me. Where you're like, you're in the position and obviously people believe in you. So you're there for a reason. And yet you're like, damn, you're surveying the landscape. And you're like, man, I'm with him and I'm with him and I'm with these people or whatever. And so obviously they're perceiving you on that level. Maybe you haven't perceived yourself on that level. And then you do the work and then you hit this point where it's like, okay, I'm here. Like I arrived. You know what I mean? And it's very subtle, but it's like, oh, I'm here. What was that for you? Or did you go through that? And you were like, okay, now I know, like I'm here. And it's like, and I'll explain it for me, like when you get that switch, it's very subtle, but it's like from that point on, things change, right? Your confidence changes, not your ego, but your confidence changes. How you feel about it changes, like everything. It's like, okay, I should be here.
It's kind of like, not to use a basketball analogy again, but you know how you're nervous before tip off. And then right when the ball goes up, like you lose it, like you're just playing your hoop. It's the same thing with our industry. It's all people, man. Like, and once you realize that, it's all people, it's all relationships. It's all about being a good person and being genuine and like genuinely looking out for the intelligence part. Like we all have it. I mean, intelligence varies, but it's not rocket science. We're selling shoes and you're dealing with people at the end of the day. So once I realized that it was an aha moment. There's nothing scary about these athletes. There's nothing intimidating about. They're regular people like you and me, and a lot of them are from Portland. But you find dudes, especially in like I have friends that I'll have for life. Like one of the dudes, Brandon Walker, who I work with. I talk with him every day. If I were to leave Adidas, nothing would change, right? Gotcha. And I can say that for everybody that I work with, right? Gotcha. That these are relationships that I'll have, and it's easy, man. It's really good people.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. I think, and I would imagine. I'm not around them like you are, but people appreciate when you treat like people are there in the position. They appreciate when you treat them like real people. At the end of the day, they put on pants like we put on pants. You know what I mean? And everyone's fawning over them, which they've earned that respect. But I would imagine they appreciate it more, like when you're like, okay, you're a person. You know what I mean? I'm gonna treat you like an actual, regular person.
And it's helped me to just make it clear that. In both, how I dress, how I present myself, how I talk, that, I'm a hooper, I'm a business first mindset, and I'm not competing with anybody. And I can't be bought in that way. Like, it's not like, it makes it a lot easier to be, even like in the office, to be pretty direct with people because they know it's never coming from a place of malice or a place of envy or a place of anger. It's all me just saying what I have to say.
Yeah, and it's a level of authenticity. Talk about the style, man. I can't bring you on. We got to talk about fashion. We got to talk about fashion. You know what I mean? There, this is, I don't always get to talk about fashion, but with you, I got to, because, you my nephew, you know what I'm saying? You've always been stylish. So talk about that. Talk about how the style aspect has shaped you, because for me, as you know, I love it. I've always loved it. I look at it as a language, you know what I mean? People that don't know me, they realize, like, I can be outgoing, but I'm pretty chill. You know what I mean? Like, if you get me around fam, like, I'm not the loudest one in the room at all. But I've always had an ability to have my style talk for me. And if not, start the conversation or spark the conversation. But talk about you, like, how was it like you growing up, being in fashion, being in style, wanting to be fresh, and then translate that to, even how you dress now and how you present yourself in your day-to-day when we're in normal business, how that works for you.
Well, a couple of things. I'll say that my style has definitely changed as I've gotten older, because I've gotten a lot heavier. So what used to fit and what I might have been able to get away with.
That's everybody with COVID though right now. That's applicable to when you're older, and that's applicable to COVID, man. I'm telling you, and I refuse. You're right.
No, it's too key. I would say that I've become a lot more understated. I think that, your journey in fashion is not defined by the outfits that work. It's more defined by the outfits you wear that haven't worked,
Yeah.
And I got people on my team that if I wear something that don't work, like, they're going to roast me. Like, there's this girl I work with named Reese Hollins. If I wear something wrong, she's going to flame me. Or a mentor of mine, Sebron, if I wear something wrong, he's going to flame me. Cam Mason, same thing. I wear something wrong, they're gonna flame me. So no, I'm understated. I wear a lot of black tees, a lot of neutral color sweaters, and I just try to. It's all about the cut with me. Like, I try to get stuff that's cut nice. I have moved more so to a closet of a lot more few items and more of a premium look. Because I don't want any one piece to speak for me too much. I want it to just be, understated.
So that was an intentional, like, thing. Like, I'm gonna kind of move with these more subdued colors, nothing that's too glaring, like too much attention grabbing. Like, and do you feel like that is in alignment with your personality then, and how you? It seems like that's alignment with your personality. Like you said, how you survey a room, how you you say what you feel, and they know that it's authentic. But is that in alignment with your personality?
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't. I think my personality has, as you get older, you become more confident. And I don't say a lot unless I'm spoken to, and I won't speak up unless I know what I'm talking about, right? And I want what I wear to reflect that. I don't want too much attention on me, but I want, when I do open my mouth or when I do interact with you, I want it to mean something. So I'm very selective in my words, very selective in who I talk to, as you know, which is why this is my first podcast, and I'm selective about how I present myself. Again, I don't want to step on too many toes. Keep everybody even keeled.
Yeah. So now, as that position with the NBA, with Adidas, how has it been affected since COVID? We talked about before you came on, like, you want to get back to the office life, right? Or what is office life for you? Because I know you travel a lot.
Yeah.
How has it been from a business? Because I feel like a lot of people don't have this insight. You work for a major business, a major conglomerate, if you will, right? What is it? What have you seen that's changed? And how has business been different since it started? And then obviously I want to get back into later, like, how has it been better, benefited since COVID started? Because there are tangible benefits as well, I think, from just the process of everything, what you have to move to.
For sure, it's a lot of the sexy is gone, right? A lot of the sexy. I mean, there's no more courtside. There's no more games. There's no more photo shoots. There's no more dope creative concepts that you can't wait to see come to life in person. All of that has stopped. And for me, a huge reason why I say a lot of my job is boring is when the season stopped and paused. Like, we have contracts with all these teams and leagues, and you know, a huge part of it is your term date, you know, like when the season starts and stops, that sets you up for the next one. You have renewals and all that. For the first 3 months, it was a lot of reading contracts, reading language, seeing how you could substitute elements and get your value now that, you know, games aren't on TV and the season has stopped. So, you know, my world completely shifted into a lot of high energy, a lot of feeding off the people around you, to being in front of a computer screen and looking at stuff, taking notes. And it's just been very, very, you know, as I'm sure you know, just impersonal. You know what I mean? It's not so much of my job that I loved was going into the office and the people I work with, you know, debating about what the game tonight, debating this colorway of shoes, doing this, hooping at lunchtime, working out together, going to happy hour, bouncing ideas. Like all of that is gone. I mean, you can do it in Zoom, but it's not the same thing. I got kids running around, you know, so it's that's definitely been affected, and it sucks. But I do know that we'll be back. But to your point, you know, there is a lot of benefits to it, because I have been able to work with a lot of our team partners a little bit more. Like we've had weekly meetings on the books, but you know, obviously everybody gets busy. We push that out. No, we're having our weekly meeting. Yeah. And again, all of the teams in NBA contacts, I'm so blessed. They're just really, really good people. Really good people.
Yeah, I was actually talking about, I never really I never thought of myself as like a loner or whatever, but I definitely like my alone time, right? But pre-COVID, what I had was I had enough public events and things going on, whether that I produced them myself, that I was always amongst people. So I got my feel of energy from people. Like I was at events, you know, like when you're hosting events, you got to be on, you know what I mean? And since this happened to shut down, it's like, well, damn, like I was at an event the other day for the first time. I'm like, yo, I was DMing someone. I'm like, and I was, well, you know, like when you write something and you realize what you brought, I'm like, I was just happy to be around people, like in a somewhat normal environment. It's like I ain't felt that in a while. You talk about bringing the team members closer together. What are the benefits that you're going to think? Because I feel like there's going to be aspects because of this. Now, how people do business has changed. You mentioned Zoom. I think one of the advantages is that shield or that veil, if you will, of everything being perfect is now being removed from everyone. So we're actually, although we're disconnected, there's been an aspect of vulnerability that people are able to see now. There's been an aspect of realness that people are able to see now. So we actually have a stronger bond in some areas, and things that people might not share, now they're sharing. Besides the teamwork aspect, what do you feel like as the business moves 2021, 2022, when we get back to a new normal, how is Adidas going to shift their activations, their events? Is it always going to now have to include a level of a digital streaming method? Like, what are you seeing? And I don't know if you can share whatever, but what do you see on the landscape from just, you know, an activation standpoint or in-person event or whatever?
I think for the last 2 years, we've always thought that digital was the future. And I feel like COVID has accelerated that, right? Like if you didn't have a solid plan to attack that before, you better have one now or else you're not going to survive. I think fortunately for us, we have an infrastructure and a team that can attack that effectively. I mean, we operate in business units, right? So for basketball, for example, last year, we shot a ton of content of our top 15 athletes, right?
Gotcha.
We just have that in the bank just in case something happens, like to be reactive, to be in the conversation, because to your point, there's not going to be too many opportunities to interact in person. A huge part of us being global is we have global tours, right? So we take James, Dame, Donovan, all of our athletes overseas to China, and we have these massive activations, and they go from city to city, and they build and you build the foundation for their business, right? That's gone now. That's gone. So how do you interact in China? It's a lot of stuff like this. I'm glad that we have good partners, because it's, especially when it comes to how we operate in China, it can be frustrating. Like, yo, James, you got this shoe coming out. I know we can't go there this summer, so we have to, after you do, you're gonna have to shoot yourself, because we can't bring no camera crew around you. So you're gonna have to be in your hotel room in the bubble or whatever, shooting yourself, doing X, Y, and Z. We'll package that up and then send it off to China for them to use for the shoe. Like, that's what it's become now. A lot of our activation, or a lot of what we would do in the past, which was centered around activations in person, we've now substituted that for athlete generated content, to where they shoot it themselves, we edit it in post pro and pretty it up, add music to it, and then
Yeah.
send it out. And a good example of that is, we had a shoe with Harden that came out where he tag teamed with Allen Iverson, right?
Okay.
And they brought the shoe to market, and so we had all these grandiose plans of having Iverson come to a game. We do this content capture, all this stuff, sexy interview, all that, and COVID happened. It went away.
Yeah.
So resources are slim.
Yeah.
So we set them both up in their living rooms, and we have an interview, and I'm the interviewer. You know what I mean? Like, it's me talking to them. It's me.
Yeah.
No Stephen A. No, we don't got time. We don't got time or budget for that. You know what I mean? So it became me. But it came to life very well, in large part due to our amazing comms team, who's like ready for moments like that and thinking on the fly. So that's how it shifted.
How you talk about how far ahead are you guys when it comes to like your digital and creative? Because I want to make this applicable to smaller companies or smaller individuals, entrepreneurs. Like you just talked about being like 18 months ahead of time, right? Like how much content, you say you shot a lot of your 15 top athletes last year. How much are you guys shooting, or like how far in the queue ahead do you have a library of shit like, oh, we have this ready to go just in case? Because obviously for the average individual, they can't have 18 months, but they should at least have 90 days, right?
Yeah. I think for us, it changes based off the campaign. I think a huge part of our industry is you can't start conversations anymore. Like, you have to sustain them. You have to keep them going, right? And you need content for that. Our athletes are our voices. They're their own brands. So we use them as a conduit for our messaging. So for reactive content, it can be as far in the past as possible, and we do repurpose, some other content. But usually, for a shoe, we're usually 6 months out for the concept, just so we're at least somewhat on the pulse of what's going on today. You know what I mean? Our concepts are usually 6 months out from retail when we shoot them, and then it's go. It's crazy how fast it works.
Right.
Let's go.
Talk about the bubble. Talk about the bubble. Because I know you sent out packages. Talk about that and being reactive. And so I had a conversation. Let me back up. I had a conversation the other day with a great magazine. Shout out. I'm doing in the Design Lounge. It's going to come out on the 25th or 26th, right? We talked about everyone now. COVID was so unexpected, right? And you mentioned earlier, like, if you weren't on digital before, you have to be in digital. You have to have a game plan. If you don't pivot to pivot, as I like to say, you're not going to be in business. But there's an aspect of being reactive because you have to, but at the same time, you want to maintain innovation, right? You want to be innovative while you're being reactive, because you don't want the same thing to happen in another 12 months, because business is constantly shifting, it's constantly moving faster. Taking that to like you use the bubble as an opportunity. You're like, okay, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to ship it to them, which became a shareable moment because the people athletes that got it. Talk about how that came about. Talk about the thought process. And even if you can give a timeline from idea to execution to give an idea how fast you need to move on stuff.
Well, that one we had 2 weeks on that from concept to shipping.
Which people that don't know, what did you do? What did you do so they can get an idea?
So we backing up, I wanted to, again, like, it's the human element. I don't want to look at our athletes as, inventory. I want to look at them as partners, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, dang, if I'm getting ready to go to the bubble where I don't have any access to anybody, I'm stuck in this one place for a long period of time. Like, I want something to encourage me, and as a partners, I just wanted to do something nice for our athletes. Especially, two other factors will give you insight. There are Nike athletes who are there, right? At Adidas, we want to win the locker room, right? We want to show that we take care of our players.
Absolutely.
And two, we want to get the best product that we have on our players as well. So it was a marriage of all of those things. But I'm trying to tell you, man, it was difficult. Like the NBA had this the shipping package, like quarantine thing, to where everything could sit outside for a day to be quarantined. It had to be sprayed and all that. I'm like, damn, well, how am I going to do? I can't send boxes. Like, how am I going to do that? And luckily, again, we have an amazing brand comms team and an amazing agency that turned around concepts. I'm no lie, I sent the brief on a Wednesday, I got that concept back Friday morning, like full, ready to go. Few tweaks here, few tweaks there, but it was ready to go, baked. And then they created it. They stayed up overnight, 2 days, creating the barrels, handmade design, all of that, shipping it. And then when they got to the barrels, I got cussed out by a couple of the teams. They were like, "This shit is too big. What do you? I'm not carrying this up to their room. This shit is too." Because you got to, they have to leave the packages outside their rooms. So like the team managers, they're like, "I got to carry these 5-foot barrels with Yeezys and all this super soakers and candles and all this stuff up to the room and lay it out the door. I'm not doing it, you know." So then, but it ended up working out good, man. Our athletes, I felt like they felt the love, because they're amazing partners, man. Really amazing partners.
Yeah, no, man, like I said, just the idea, like I said, the concept of speed and the ability to not now, you don't have the ability to overthink something, right? You just have to talk to go. You talked a lot about partnership, relationships, camaraderie. From a more of a marketing perspective, how do you feel like the marketing and branding is shifting? And again, I'm thinking, even pulling from my interview you had the other day, whereas like, you know, you're a business. Adidas is a huge business. You have budgets. You have, you know what I mean? You need to make money. Yet you don't want to appear tone deaf to what's going on in the world, because there's all kind of things going on. How has that shifted the marketing landscape, and how do you guys look to integrate hitting your sales quota, but at the same time coming across as an entity that has compassion, that's aware of what's going on, and how has that changed since even since the beginning of the virus?
Yeah, I think it's I think for a lot of companies it would be a lot harder. Again, like, it's no secret that I'm Black. I'm an athlete. I can relate to things in a way that others may not. So I'll always have that hat on. Fortunately for me, I work for a brand who respects that hat, and allows that input to influence how we bring concepts to life. So when it came to example, we just talked about the bubble. When it came to putting a Black Lives Matter Adidas t-shirt in there and creating it, no pushback. When it comes to saying, hey, instead of Donovan Mitchell talking about his next shoe release and making a video around that, let's get his insight on what the political landscape looks like, what he's experienced, allowing him to tell his story. And it's not something that like I bring to the table or I say. Fortunately for me, the Ready for Change campaign was already in motion, and it's in large part, again, I speak to the team, I speak to the people like above me. There are a couple of mentors that I have, such as Aaron Sebron, who's the head of baseball, laying the groundwork at a high level. Rashad Williams, head of footwear. Kofi Brown, head of brand comms. Cam Mason, head of footwear. Brandon Walker, head of U.S. sports marketing. Like, it's people who are on these teams who are making sure that whatever comes to life is not tone deaf. So for me, it's easy. I get to add another layer of it, but there's a lot of downfield blocking that I already have afforded to me, and I'm comfortable in these meetings. I'm comfortable giving my POV because they've laid that groundwork for me. So it's definitely shifted, but I again, it's all about the brand, because as you know, some brands are not willing to jump out there and say Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm not working for a brand that's not willing to say that. So yeah,
I think also an important aspect of that, and people, we had this conversation, it's not just diversity. Obviously, Adidas definitely is diverse, but it's also inclusion, right? It's having a seat at the table, and having, more importantly, as important, a voice at the table. And the fact that you're able to act that out in real life as being an African American male, you know what I mean? Like, I talk about that. You see these companies where they want to draw a line in the sand or not. I think an aspect of that is they don't have people at the table that have a voice. So they aren't impacted the same way. Like, I know even for me, like, and they think, oh, you're in Portland, da-da-da. It's like, no, I've been Black my entire life. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, y'all can put up a Black square. Like, I'm going to be Black tomorrow. There's no off button. There's no day off. And so I see it. And then obviously I'm independent, so I can say and do as I feel. Do you think that's going to be going forward, even with that? You guys are drawing a line in the sand. Do you think there's even going to be an added level of transparency from from just the general public in the marketplace, from brands, of being like, because it seems like it's shifting that way. It already was, but it seems like it's shifting that way where they're like, they want to know, what do you stand for? What don't you stand for? And obviously what starts at a big conglomerate trickles down to everyone else, where like you need to be transparent about who you are and what you represent.
Yeah. I think that there will be a level of transparency to the extent of what affects the bottom line.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can call me pessimistic. I just think it's real. I think that everything has become so polarizing, so political, so red and blue. To your point, people want to know where you stand, and people want to know what you're doing in the community, and people want to know. But everything's been cut in half, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm hopeful that it will come to life where brands actually stand. But I do know that, a lot of brands just can't afford to make a statement either way. And that's what's most unfortunate and discouraging, like to me, is that, just given the financial climate, that some brands just don't feel comfortable no matter where they lie. But I do feel like a lot of brands will be hurt because they will be on the wrong side of history, right? I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic that, after this election, whatever happens going forward, that the rights will be on the right side of history, and there will be brands that are on the wrong side of history, and they will have to pay for it. And I don't want to be a part of or give my money to any brands who forget the human element of it, right?
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter at its core is saying that there's value to a life. That should be indisputable.
Exactly.
If you take it further than that, then like I don't know what you're doing. I don't get involved with that. Yeah. But hopefully we get to that point.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. What's interesting, and we can go down this road. I mean, Black, essentially, what was the irony of being an African American male, understanding that, like Black Lives Matter is essentially a version of saying that all lives matter. Like the reason we're saying Black Lives Matter because they haven't mattered, and in order for the people that just, you know what I mean, like in order for all lives to matter, Black lives now must go from a place of not mattering as much to actually mattering equally to everyone else. Not more than, but equally to everyone else. So that, in fact, like I said, that is actually a legitimate statement. Yes, we all know. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. Let's shift a little lighter. So, like I said, you've been in fashion. I've been in fashion. I have this thing called branded behavior, right? Where essentially this gives a light of, as a brand, as a person, where do you lean towards to give people more of an insight of who you are? Some is just hit and miss. Some is just you'll add upon. But we'll start with, obviously, I got to keep it, Adidas. I keep it 3-stripe life. And I said this. I was on the call with the dude from Adidas. I was like, yo, I got family that works at Adidas. You know what I mean? I'm not even going front. Stan Smith's, to me, is the perfect silhouette. So that's what I rock with, because I like to dress it up and dress it down. But for you, what is your favorite Adidas sneaker?
Oh, man, I'm probably going to be right there with you. I'm Stan Smith. I'm all white Stan Smith.
Yeah, classic.
I don't know how much classic.
And the thing what people don't realize is even designers, like literally every designer shoe, or for the most part that are successful and that are enduring, is either based off a Stan Smith silhouette, a Vans slip-on, or an Air Force One. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. You are essentially buying a $500 Stan Smith or a $500 Air Force One, literally. Or, you can add a Jordan 1, whatever. But for the most part, that is the silhouette that goes with everything. I think I saw you in the photos. I'm sure you've been there. Staples Center versus Madison Square Garden. Which one you picking?
Ooh. Depends on how I'm feeling that night. If I got a lot of, oh man, I would probably Staples. Okay. Probably Staples. I would say Staples. But I will say I had one of the dopest basketball experiences I've ever had. I got courtside tickets to watch LeBron play in Madison Square Garden, and he was playing against one of our athletes, Kristaps Porzingis. and they were going back and forth and the energy in the garden when it's different. I've never experienced anything like that before on from basketball, point of view. It's just like the air is like there's like a mist to it. LeBron's turning up a little bit more. LeBron's looking at the sideline. He's talking to all the actors. He's doing that. Davey stands up and yells at him, and he's yelling back at him, and you know what I mean? And he's yelling at Kristaps at the free throw line, and Kristaps yelling back at him, and it was an amazing experience. But I love Staples Center, and I love the Lakers. I got a lot of good people in that organization, so I'm gonna say Staples.
Man, talk about that. I digress. You ruined basketball for me, I will say, because I've been to games. I've always had good seats, right? I always had cool seats. And a couple times, we talk about I know you get a whole bunch of texts. I don't try to hit it. I'm like, I don't be trying to use the uncle card and get tickets. But I got tickets. I believe it had to be an OKC game when Russ was still in OKC. Yeah. And I'm there, in OKC, him and Dame already, whatever, right? Yeah. And so, first off, I'm in the Staples Center. You know what I mean? It's probably one of the two best experiences ever going to a game. Yeah. I'm in the state. I'm at the Motor Center, and of course you keep walking down. I'm like, oh yeah, I keep walking down. Yeah. I keep walking down. I see y'all after. Oh yeah, But being in that row, seeing it where you actually seeing it, you can appreciate the ability, the agility, the speed, the size, because you're actually at their waist level. It's nothing. It's nothing else seeing a game like that at that level. And I don't want to see another game after. I don't want to go. If my nephew gonna give me seats, if I ain't on the court, I can't go. The only time I would say, which is similar to that experience, is when LeBron 2 years ago, not this year but last year, first went to LA. And game one, he was in Portland. And I think I hit you over that. There was nobody. Nobody got seats. Nobody got seats. Nobody got seats. Yeah. Tickets was going crazy. And a friend of a friend was like, "Oh, we still got season passes." So we were in the the Lexus, like the whatever, the suites, whatever. And that was cool because the environment was so much different because it was game on LeBron's first game in LA. But other than that type of experience, I need to be on the floor because there's nothing else like it. Fashion-wise, beanie versus brim. Which one you picking?
Beanie.
Dressed up or dressed down? I don't know. I think before it might have been dressed up, but what is it now?
It's dressed down for sure.
Okay.
That's the best part working at Adidas. Yeah. Is you can dress down, but you can kind of dress it up.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Premium, like you said, premiums. Favorite city you visited for your position?
Tokyo.
Okay. What's the craziest activation or event that you've been a part of?
Oh.
Where you're like, damn, this is what I get to do for work?
It's probably 747, that event that we had at All Star. And it was crazy because it came to life in a real cool way. But like how much work, like when I tell you that for like 6 months, 2 days a week, we're in meetings. And when you finally get there, like I'm not lying, B, like I didn't sleep. Yeah. Like I didn't sleep. Like it was literally go. But we took over like a 3 blocks in this huge, again. And I mean, you got to look at the recaps online, but you had even Nike athletes when they come. Like I'm walking out and I'm bringing a team through, and Odell Beckham, he walks by, and I'm like, "Oh, Odell, what you doing here? You're not supposed to be here." You know what I mean? And then Kanye, Pharrell, everybody. But it came to life like seamlessly. Like on the back end, you see how crazy it is, but to see it execute, despite all the craziness, despite all the moving parts, despite all of this, like it came together like seamlessly. So that would probably be that one, or the Harden Volume 1 release. And that's when before Travis Scott was before Travis Scott was before Travis Scott was Travis Scott. Before Travis Scott was with Nike. Oh, okay, so this is when he had his album that was blowing up, and he like co-headlined the release for Harden Volume 1. And that went crazy, but then they had this private party just for Harden with all of his friends. So you had YG, Nipsey Hussle, Travis Scott performing, and Travis Scott and Young Thug, and Travis Scott goes crazy, hops on the banister.
You told me about this. I remember this.
It was a moment. I'm sitting next to my guy Brandon, and I'm like a kid.
Yeah.
Like I was a kid, with the basketball stuff, and I'm like a kid there, and I'm just looking around, and that was nuts. That was nuts.
Yeah, no, man, that's crazy. Last one, who's winning the chip this year, man? Who you got? And you a basketball savant. People don't know. We ain't really touching the, how you should drop 50 and 60. We don't have enough time for all that. But this is an actual legitimate hooper that's giving his opinion.
I hope one of our Adidas athletes wins it. I hope the Celtics, the Raptors, or the Nuggets win it. Shout out to Jamal, Jalen, and Kyle, and all of our other athletes. But no, if I had to place a bet, I would probably place it on the Clippers, which has an Adidas athlete, Patrick Beverley. So I'm good there.
Is Pat Beverley? Is he gonna be back?
Yeah, he's back. He played last night.
Okay.
I just think that they're too deep. They're too modular. They're too mobile. They have a myriad of different looks that they can go to. I think that the Clippers are the winners.
There you go, man. Well, yo, I know you busy, man. I appreciate you. Let me fan out for a second, y'all, because like I said, I was excited. This is my nephew, right? I've always said, people that know insight, like my family's tight, and I say that humbly. But I was blessed to grow up with people, my elders, older brothers, your dad, which I'm the youngest, the people to look up to. And what's happened is now in my nephew, I can look up to and look down at the same time, man. So I just want to give you your flowers for everything that you do. Not only just being humble, being successful, having wonderful children, a family man. Bro, I can't be more proud to say that I'm your uncle. So I appreciate you. I love you. Continue success. I know you go do it, but I just want to say that because you're busy. I don't get to say it enough, but yeah, man, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm just going on the sidelines like, yo, that's my nephew.
So I don't do this. Why are you going to try to make me cry? Like,
I know. But it's it. Everyone that'll come on their family, so I can't say that. But it's legit. It's 100. I feel like, and we gotta say that. You know what I mean? And like even today, I was posting. I was like, yo, I gotta post this person who, besides the title, besides the accomplishments, besides the fact that you do events with Nipsey and Travis Scott and Hard and fly across the world, like yo. You're a pillar as far as a family man. You know what I mean? Like you have two, amazing kids, and you're married, and like so. I feel like people just need to see that. And one of the things I was also super excited to do this was bringing on people that, not like celebrities, but real people that are walking the talk and doing things that you should aspire to become. And you represent that more than anyone, especially at your age. So I gotta say, and your family. If I can't cheer you for family, I can't cheer you for nobody.
Well, just know the feeling is mutual. I was telling my dad the same thing, that we have a family that I feel like it's blessed that everyone is able to do what they want to do, but also everybody's a good person. Like I tell my dad, and my mom, thank you all the time for just making like the biggest rule, like don't be an asshole. You know what I mean? Like making like be kind to people. And just instilling that in, giving me discipline, yes, giving me confidence, yes, but just making sure that we're all good people and you're a good person, your mom, my grandma is a good person.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Chris, Elsie, like everybody, Brian, we're good people. So yeah.
No, and at the end of the day, that's what matters, and that's the foundation that we can go off of and build, and like I say, going our separate ways, and we always come together. So man, love you. Look forward to when you get back in town. Now that I have you on my live, I'm not in Portland as often, but I am gonna need some seats next year when the game come back.
I just need one game. I don't even care who it is because let's be real, when you that close, it don't matter who's playing because you so damn close. And then you got the tunnel underneath that people don't know about. You can have the pizza at halftime, kick whatever. Yo, it's a lifestyle. It's a whole different feeling. It was like I was at this event this weekend, bro, and I went and they had this car event.
And then I went to this other event, and it was like a Bugatti Chiron, right?
Yeah.
It was on the grab, bro. That's like $3.5 million. I'm like, yo. And then you see these cars up close, and it's like it's different.
Did you get inside?
Nah, man, I wasn't gonna do that. I got inside the F8, the Ferrari F8, Tributo.
I wouldn't have even done that. Huh? I wouldn't have even done that. I was nervous. I would have scratched something, and I'm like, my insurance can't cover it.
Bro, right? Well, the thing is, they were actually doing rides in it, and I was like, I'm cool going on the track, whatever. But I got it. I mean, I got in it, but yeah, man. But it's good times, man. But yo, going to that game, because again, of course, and I'm from the P, so the people know who I am. I'm probably gonna wear something unlike you. I'm not gonna wear black when I'm sitting front row. I'm gonna wear something bright so they can see me.
You know me too. I'm all black. I love
colors. I'm like, yo, because I don't like to talk at all. That's the thing. I don't like to talk, so I just let my outfit speak. And then I tell people all the time, and they'll realize, like, I dress like this because I'm not good at, and I don't like to spark the conversation. Like, I'm not that. I'm good like this, 1-to-1, 2-to-2, small intimate settings. I'm cool. I'm not gonna be the one that's gonna go up to someone and be like, "Yo, what up, whatever."
Yeah.
And so I'd rather just have my outfit be the icebreaker, and then they come say, "Oh, nice jacket." Matter of fact, funny story before we go. I remember one time I was at a party, and Dame was there, and we was on the elevator. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, people are people. I can care less. You know what I mean? I'm just like, and he's like, and he was like, "Yo, nice jacket," and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, what's up?" You know what I mean? I got it, whatever. But I'm not starting a conversation really with anybody unless I know you. I'm just gonna be like, okay, we got dressed.
But you know how dope that is though. Like to think about like Dame, like who he is, how much money like he makes, how good he is at basketball, that he hasn't changed. Yeah, like he's a regular dude, like and a cool dude. Like that's the huge difference between what athletes are today. Not saying athletes of the past were, off put, but like this new generation of athletes, that he would say that to you in the elevator. You know how it used to be. Hey man, don't touch me. Hey, man, don't look at me. No autographs. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. No, for real. That speaks volume. So, man, all right, Neff, man, I will check you. I will see you soon. Hopefully, I'll be back in Portland in a few weeks. Whatever. I know you'll be traveling all around the world, but yeah, tickets next year, 2021 season. I need it. I need at least one game. And yeah, man, I'll just stay blessed. Just stay blessed, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you. Love you.
All right, love you too.